Hi. So, I am Faheem Abdullah too, and I'm here to tell you about Lost. I'm here to tell you about the state of Lost, how it is to be in this particular state. Lost, यानी खोना या खो जाना. So we've got a few songs in the state of lost. We've got a few songs in the state of being found, that is yours. So this state of being lost is actually this space where you are clueless. You are clueless about what's going on around you. And you realize that in order to be in the state of found, in order for me to be you, I need to go through the state of semicolon. So basically, from the first point of lost, it is a journey until I reach the point of semicolon, and then I become you. So, talking about this journey from the starting point of lost until the semicolon, there are a few songs which start from Sajde, and then we go into Ilham, and then there is Aag, and then there is Vavu. And all these four songs are in the very state of lost. So, talking about Sajde to begin with, Sajde is it's an internal fight about how there's a very fine line between Ishq Majazi and Ishq Hakiki. Ishq Hakiki meaning the love that you have for the divine, the love that you have for God, and Ishq Majazi meaning the love that you have for the worldly people. And the point where you forget this thin line between the two is the point where you mess up, is the point which makes you loathe yourself for the rest of your life, because it makes you regret it once you've done it. Because I believe that Ishq Hakiki should have its own place, Ishq Majazi should have its own place. I realize it now, pretty late. So, Sajda is all about the feeling of regret. It's all about the feeling of guilt. The song has been very personal to me, and it talks about how a person can be stuck in a loop, starting from where he is repenting and regretting on the fact how he has sinned, and then coming back to the point, to the first point where he actually sinned. The reason for his sin is coming in the loop. So that is what the song is mostly about. The lyric happens to be 12 years old. I can vaguely remember the moment when I actually wrote this song, and right now when we listen to the song is fairly 7.47 minutes, so approximately 8 minutes long. And everybody asked me, why is this song so long? Why is this 8 minutes long? Because I think for me to tell you a story, I really need to take time. I cannot tell you a story of my life or of an event in my life in 2 minutes or less than that. I think you can take all the time you want with the story you want to tell, and that's what I've done with Sajde. Coming to the point when the composition and the lyrics were created, I remember we were still constructing our new house, and I used to go for checks every day. So, of course, the house was not furnished, and I used to spend some time there with my friend, and I used to love singing because the space was echoing. So I remember writing this very song there, and singing it there. So the composition and the lyrics for this one, they came very much hand in hand. They were very simultaneous. For me, it is an immersive piece of art, because when you listen to it, you're going to go into it and then come out only when the song is over. So it actually grows on you. It has grown on me. When I got to listen to the last draft of this particular song, I broke down because of a lot of reasons, a lot of things going on. I could not even tell the music producer, Ahmad, I was on a call with him. I couldn't even tell him that what my feedback was, what my input was, and I couldn't like collect myself. So that's basically what the song does to me. It's like a black hole which only sucks you in, which only takes you in and doesn't let you go. So talking about the music production part, when we come to that, music production is a very tricky job to do. We tried a lot of music producers for this particular song, but then this was destined to be made by Aman Morne, and Aman Bhai is the master at his craft, and so he sent this one draft where we recorded the vocals for, and later the second draft was it, and that's how we were there. The recording process was very rigorous. The recording was the longest that I've ever done. I think it lasted for a whole day, and the craziest part about it was that it was a feeling that I felt around 12 or 13 years ago, and you have to revisit the whole emotion in order to sing this song. You have to live it all over again so that you can live this song and do justice with how you are delivering it. And then doing the same drill for the whole day. God knows how many takes. Not because it was sounding bad, but just wanted it to be right there, on spot, perfect. So visiting that feeling again, it was like a flood. But this is the process of it, This is how you are supposed to bring art of yourself out of your heart, even if it is somewhere deep down and you've buried it, but you still have to take it out. That was the process for Such Day, and the first song of Lost. So this guy actually sinned. When we talk about Sajde really sounds like an act of devotion, but then how the context of it can really change the meaning of it. So being so much in love is also problematic, because then you forget the line, like I said, between the love for the divine and the love for the humankind. When we move on from Sajde, we go towards Ilham. Now you must be wondering what Ilham is. Ilham is a word which means something sent by God, something which is divinely put. This actually means divine intervention. Sometimes you're sitting and an idea strikes you, and you really feel that it was God who sent you this idea. He just put this idea right there in your head, and you feel it. That is what Ilham means. Ilham, now that we have gotten into divinity, and I think divinity is all hope. Ilham did give a little bit of hope, a tiny hope, from the kind of a depression that Sajde is placed in. So you come into a tiny bit of this hope, which ilham brings about. And this happens to be a conversation between the feminine side of me and the masculine side of me. So what I believe is that an artist has both the sides intact, and the masculine side in a man is overpowering the feminine side in him, and the feminine side in a woman is overpowering the masculine side in her. But in an artist, when he's writing poetry, when he's painting, and all these art forms, I believe all the art forms present in the world are very feminine in nature. They're very feminine in nature. So when I'm writing, I think that side of me is very much out, because it's very kind, that side. That side is very intense. That side is very sensitive and deep. So all of these feelings I associate these with the feminine side of a person. So this had to be a conversation between a guy and a girl. And what happens here is that we are submitting to one thought. So there's unity of thought in what both of them are talking about. Both of them are actually talking about the same thing. But then to a listener, it sounds like this person is talking to this person. The feminine is talking to the masculine, or the other way around. But they're both talking about the same thing. It is one guy who's talking about both the feelings. About ilham, I think this is the only one composition, and might be in my entire life, that comes out of the deepest crevices of my heart. The process of making this was not driven by me. I didn't do anything when I was writing this song, when I was composing this song. I think I was just letting myself loose to a point where it was just coming to me on its own. And that's how this song got composed, and it got written in chunks. A part of it was written in Kashmir, a part of it was written later in Delhi while the album was being made. It starts with a Kashmiri lyric, and then it goes into Urdu. The Kashmiri part of it says, Rozaib pyarwun jantich daripet, which means I will be waiting for you at the window of heaven. That you might enter through the door once. तो ये ऐसा कह रहा है कि मैं तुम्हारा इंतज़ार करता रहूँगा जन्नत की खिड़की पे बैठ के, ये सोच के कि तुम एक बार दरवाजे से एंटर करो. And then we say, Chaman varan chum yikhnatsa ekelete. My garden is barren. Would you come once? Khotsan chasba yirma gatsavete. I am scared that I might just drown in River Jhelum. So why is he calling upon the beloved? Is because this person is very scared and very tired of his garden being barren and his fear of getting drowned in River Jhelum. So these two lines are my tribute, my homage to two people who I very much look, I look up to them. One being Muhammad Muneem and one being Khalid Ahmad. This lyric, Chaman varan chum yikhnatsa ekilete. Chaman varan chum roots from this lyric that Khalid Bhai has sung in a lot of his songs, and one of his most famous songs. So Khotsan Chasbu Yirma Gasvetye roots from Muhammad Muneem Bhai's song called Jehelamas. So this is my way of giving them the tribute, being the people who have inspired me throughout. And then the girl comes in. So these were the 4 lines that I do, and the girl comes in. The female voice, what does she say? She says, Hargah aakh tsapaga, gachem dajan dava, baag phalhamna. If only you happen to come tomorrow, my wounds, my ache, my illness would heal, and this bagh, this garden that we were talking about, this would blossom again. And then together, the female and the male, both of them sing together and they say, Digrastahar kadan paran gaso shukran, sari samit pakan vadant be vanvan. So around the time of late afternoon, when the Asr prayer is in place, around that time we'll come out of our homes and we will feed people with a feast called Tahari. And this is a particular feast which is served in Kashmir if you have a good news, you have something auspicious happening at home, or if something bad has happened to you, just to take that evil away, you go out, you feed people on the road, people walking by, passers by. So that is the whole idea of it. We'll celebrate. Digrastahar kadan paran gaso shukran, sari semit pakan vadant be vanvan, and everybody will be just walking all together. So when the weddings are in place, everybody is just singing together, and when the bride leaves, everybody's also crying together. So it is a unity of emotion that we have amongst ourselves. So this is what these two lines talk about. And then we transition into the Urdu part, and Urdu part is very accessible and very, very understandable to a lot of people. It says, Jab se mujhko tu hua ilham hai. So in the beginning I told you how ilham is divine intervention. Ilham is something which is dawned upon you. So he says, Jab se mujhko tu hua ilham hai. So this is a person. A person has been dawned upon this guy. Tab se ye dil mera tumhara gulam hai. And ever since this person or this thought has been dawned upon this person, he has become a gulam. He has become a servant or a slave of this thought. And then the lyric goes on and it ends at another Kashmiri line which says, it's in the outro saying, Eid ay ras ras Eid gah waswoy, Eid gah waswoy. So when Eid comes, Eid is it's a very happy festival observed by us. So Eid ay ras ras, Eid dhire dhire aa chuki hai, Eidgah waswoy. Let's go to the Eidgah. Eidgah is this huge ground where the Eid prayers occur in the morning, and then everybody is dressed in fresh new clothes and everybody is smelling so great. So it is a celebration for people, and this person is saying in a very mellow kind of way कि बहुत दिनों बाद, बहुत वक्त के बाद, बहुत इंतज़ार के बाद ईद आ चुकी है, तो चलो ईदगाह चलते हैं. So in the beginning of our conversation I told you, this is more like a monologue that I'm telling you. In the beginning I told you how lost is a journey from the starting point of it towards semicolon. So as I'm moving towards semicolon in my conversation, I really think that I'm somewhere moving towards hope, somewhere, but it's very minute. I can't really see it, but then I can feel it. But then I transition into another song, and this particular song is called Aag. Aag means fire, and it is one of the 4 elements we find in the universe. So this, whenever we think of Aag, we think of a lot of things. We think of warmth, we think of light, but then mostly the only thought we have in mind is rage, is anger, angst, frustration. And all these feelings are very dark. That's why these feelings are stuck in the lost part and not in the found part. This again consists of a feeling of hopelessness, a feeling of guilt somewhere, mostly hopelessness and despair, because throughout the song, while it plays, you feel and you listen to the story being told, wherein the guy is just not hopeful about him uniting with his beloved. I think he's somewhere in this space in his mind where he thinks that it's all done with, or it is never going to happen. He's never going to meet his beloved, or he's never going to find his beloved. So that's what the song primarily talks about, but he still keeps loving. And this love that he has, this is so filled with rage and frustration that you can hear it in the lyric and the singing. The four elements that are being talked about in this particular song are earth, fire, water and air. So there's this particular lyric in the song which says, Patthar jo bana, poojne tu aayi, aag jo bana, bastiyan jalain, पानी बन के भी तुझ पे बरसना चाहा, अब हूँ फज्र की हवा, हर घर रज़ा ले जाता. So fajr is the morning prayer, or उस time की हवा. And all these four, I did not place them there in the lyric. I had no conscious choice of doing it for the lyric. It all fell into place while I was writing this song. I still remember I was sitting at my office desk and I was listening to this one song by Esther Stone. It's called Introspection. It's a guitar piece which goes on and on for like an hour or so. It inspired something in me and I started writing right there and started composing this song right there. So that was the prompt that I had, the song called Introspection. And while writing all these four lines in the center which we have in the song, I don't know how these words came into place. Again, I felt like I was being made to do it. I was not writing the lyric. I was just an instrument used by him, I think, to actually say the story that had been in my heart. Aag is storytelling. From the first line to the last line, there's a story being told. I'll tell you what the visual is. But then before that, I also want to tell you that there is no consciously put chorus in the song. There is always a format of making a song. There's a verse, then there's a bridge, there's chorus. But for this song, I just did not think about it. I did not think that I had to make a song while I was doing it. I was just expressing myself, and I can express myself. I've realized this lately. I can express myself the way that I want, and nobody can really make rules for your expression. So that's what happened with Aag while I was writing it. It's a song like it is a limbo. Like you fall into it, and then you just keep falling into the deeper gorge. You just do not fall. You never hit the ground. You just keep falling. It's a free fall kind of a song. So when I think about Aag, what do I visualize? What do I think in my mind? I see an open landscape, probably Hundar Desert in Ladakh, Nubra, the coldest desert in I think in the whole subcontinent probably. So you're there, and there is a little hut, and it is lit inside. It's very cold, thandi hawaएं चल रही हैं, and this person, he's walking towards this hut so that he gets to meet his beloved. The beloved lives in the hut. So what happens when he reaches there? There's already a big fire burning outside. So when he reaches there, he knocks at the door. His hands are cold. So it says, आग को तेरी राख से बुझाया, आज भी मैं जिस्म और तू मेरा साया, सर्द हाथों से दर तेरा खटखटाया, शाम भी ढली बाहर तू ना आया. So this person never comes out. He's knocking at the door with his cold hands, but the person never comes out. He's hopeless at this point of time. And after waiting a lot, after throwing a stone at the window pane, at the glass, he peeps in, he sees there's nobody. So what he does is, nearby, he finds a can of gasoline, he gets it, he pours this, he sprinkles all this kerosene around this hut, on this hut, and he gets a torch from the fire burning outside and he lights a fire. He puts this whole cabin, this hut on fire. And when he does it, the moment it catches fire, he is instantly regretting it. He's instantly lamenting himself, like, why did he really do it? So that's what happens to you when you commit something, when you do something which you're not supposed to do, and you did not think it through. It tested your patience, so you acted on it. That's what happens, and this place, this hut is now on fire, it's burning. And this person cannot do anything about it. And he says, Raat ko din kiya. So when he reached this place, ye puri raat ruka, puri raat isne intazar kiya ki kab jaake the beloved will open the door for him, because he was cold. So all night he sat there in the cold. Raat ko din kiya, din tere bin jiya. Now the whole day he lived without the beloved, without seeing them. Haath mere siyah, my hands are black, my hands are suited. Why are the hands black and suited? Because, you know, when he lit this house, when he torched it, it took no time to burn it down to ashes. So he was trying to find the beloved in ashes. And while he was touching the ashes and looking through the ashes, his hands got sooted, his hands are black now. This happens to be a mark of him being a sinner. Haath mere siya, gunah maine kiya. So he committed a sin. And this is the realization part. He realizes that he has committed a gruesome crime. That's where the regret or the guilt roots in the song. I told you about the process of it. And I would really like to mention that how this particular song came into being from the writing and the composition part within 15 minutes of time. This particular song took 15 minutes to come into existence. And the feeling is, it feels like I have felt this feeling for 150 plus years. And then all of this, what you have felt for all these years of your life, it gets condensed. And then it comes out on a piece of paper within 15 minutes. Which just blows my mind. I still have not got an answer to how that happens. But it's a mental journey of this person. It is a very psychology-driven lyric. And after feeling all this agony, so much of agony and Aag, he started with Sajde, which was again a state of being a sinner. He goes into Ilham, where he's only wishing, there's a little hope. But then he's in this dark space again, the dark space called Aag. But towards the end of it, now that he has realized what happens when he's in this dark space, when he lets his emotions drive him, the emotion of feeling anger, feeling rage, and all of these negative emotions, he realizes that this feeling of agony has made him very tired. He feels very tired and sick. And he's very much like he's done with this feeling. This is the actual transition point which comes towards the end of Lost. It comes towards the end, now that he knows what happens to him when he lets these emotions drive him. So the only resort that his mind thinks is to go back to God. So now he goes back to God, and this probably might be the end of Lost, because God is he's the last resort. And this person in Lost knows that maybe after this he might transition. He might just transition into something which he has never thought of. So then Vavo comes in. And when we listen to Vavo, it comes like a breath of fresh air. We again step into devotion. we talk about Khuda, we talk about God, we talk about how he's very nostalgic about God, how he feels a connection with God. I remember going for morning jogs around the Dal Lake. So in the morning on the foreshore road, while I'm running, I can see Hazrat Bal, I can see Dargah Sharif right across the Dal Lake. This beautiful masjid. I can see it right across the Dal Lake, and what I can hear while I'm running are these durood o azkar, are these chants that people unanimously recite in the morning after prayers. It's called Dua-e-Subh, Subh ki dua. और ये आपके कान में गूंजता रहता है while you're running. It just uplifts you somehow. It makes you feel protected. It makes you feel that like you know you're in God's embrace. So this Dua-e-Subh, this reminds me of my late great-grandfather. So my mom tells me that how he used to recite this while on the way back home after morning prayers. So this is my tribute to him. This is the memory that I have with him. I've never met him, but he was a kind man. So this memory tells me how I am supposed to go back to God and I'm supposed to be kind. And now, when the song comes together, I think of just one person who is supposed to be there with me on the song, and it happens to be Yawar Abdal. Yawar Abdal being the only person who is so Sufi in his world. Like when he sings something to you, he's Sufi to the core. His voice is just as peaceful. You just need to sit and just listen to him. And right from the very beginning, I knew that on this song, if there was supposed to be a person with me in there, it was supposed to be him, and somebody I've looked up to, somebody who's done music for so long, and somebody who's inspired you to do it. Doing a song with a person like that is just a blessing in itself. And a song which happens to be the last piece of Lost, it is just as amazing. It cannot be better than this. So about the song begins with Urdu, where I come in, and then it goes into Kashmiri, where Yawar Bhai comes in. And so I'll tell you what it talks about actually. This is pretty interesting. He says, Vilgastawa wo kach dimai. ए हवा तुम जल्दी चले जाओ. I'll bribe you. मैं तुम्हें रिश्वत देना चाहता हूँ और तुम जल्दी से चले जाओ. The air, हवा, is personified here. ए नाम पाचजू हैथीमai. So what is the thing that I'll bribe you with? It is Pats and Zu. Pats means the belief, Iman, and Zu means life, Zindagi. And he says, Padan pyamai ladan hamai, Adan kare vadai wafa. मैं तुम्हारे पैरों पे गिर जाऊंगा, and I'll turn the sleeve of what you're wearing. So you know when a kid is just wandering here and there, और उसका pajama लंबा होता है, how he messes it up, how he's cleaning the floor. So what a mother does is a mother comes and she turns the sleeves a little bit so that he doesn't mess it up or he does not trip and fall. So that's what the person is saying to air personified. Padan pyamai ladan hamai. I'll come, मैं आपके पैरों पे गिर जाऊंगा और मैं आपके sleeves turn करूंगा. Adan चकर वादai wafa. Forever, I'll promise you of loyalty. So he's bribing the air, who he has personified, in order for the air to go and take this message to the beloved, to God. He says, बेदर्द गम छुस गुल मुतई, जो गमे बेदर्द है मैं उससे गल चुका हूँ, मैं उससे ख़त्म हो चुका हूँ. आसेब से कुन सुल मुतई, अब मैं भागते हुए तुम्हारे पास आ चुका हूँ. खाक छुम में रोयस मुल मुतई, मैंने अपने चेहरे पे मिट्टी मली हुई है. अस्तगफिरुल्लाह अज़ीम, अस्तगफिरुल्लाह अज़ीम, अस्तगफिरुल्लाह अज़ीम. और फिर ये कलमा आता है. So this point where you are taking God's name in the worst situation around you. So I remember while I recorded this song, I was at the studio. We went outside to take a breather, or I saw some paranormal activity. I was pretty scared. So this was the only song I recorded that night, and I think that event was meant to happen because I felt a strange kind of fear, that the fear that you do not usually feel when you're looking at a person, right? So I felt this fear, and with this fear I went into the studio and I recorded the song. And I remember while recording the song, all the time I felt that I am seeking God, I am seeking Him to protect me. And that was the exact feeling when I had listened to this Du'a Subh for the first time. And that's how your lost very much comes to an end. And it comes to an end when God gives you a hand, when you're seeking Him subconsciously. You're not consciously seeking Him when you're at the first point of lost. So all of that experience, the ups and the downs, the down in sajde, the up, a tiny bit of up in ilham, and then going back down into the deepest gorges while arg is going on, and then coming back up, and all because of the fact that you chose to seek help from God. This state is lost. Semicolon is this state which you of course know of, wherein you are in this grey area and you ask yourself if you are supposed to keep going or do you stop. चला एक ऐसी नज़्म कहूँ जो लफ्ज़ कहूँ वो हो जाए. So when I read the first line, I was floored. I was thinking, who's this person who has been able to write such a beautiful thought in such a profound way?